You are parked in front of a U-shaped white building, the old Inver Inn, one of two inns within the village, both operating until around 150 years ago. Both flourished due to the ferry crossing. The other ferry inn is now no more, but you can still hold hands with history, as you are now close to the main crossing of not only travellers for the last 900 years, but also the main crossing taken by some of Scotland's first tourists. Possibly the very first one was Thomas Pennant, who arrived here by walking down the route up which we are going to travel. General Wade's roads opened up the Highlands, as he had been commissioned to build a fast means of communication, following the defeat of the Jacobites in 1715. Thomas Pennant, an enthusiastic traveller in the 1770s, toured Scotland and came down Strathbran to Inver and Dunkeld. "I had," says he, "the hardiness to venture on a journey to the remotest part of North Britain, a country almost as little known to its southern brethren as Kamchatka. I brought home a favourable account of the land. Whether it will thank me or not, I cannot say, but from the report I have made, and showing that it might be visited with safety, it has ever since been inondé with southern visitants." His travelogues, published in 1769 and 1772, well and truly established this route as a popular tourist route. Several different ferrymen owned the rights to transport passengers over during the 18th century, and records show that they had to pay between £110 and £120 for the rights to enjoy this privilege as rent payable to the Dukes of Atholl. This equates to roughly £12,000 today. The Dukes of Atholl and their entourage crossed free of charge. Lesser mortals had to pay. Despite the opening of the Dunkeld Bridge in 1809, at which point the ferry ceased to function, the Inver Inn carried on trading until the 1860s, when it was converted into dwellings for local workers. Part was used for windows, and the right-hand side became a reading room and library. Today it is divided into dwelling houses. Wending your way round to the left is Burhouse Wood Supplies, situated beside the remains of an old mill which, when created in the mid-1800s, was one of the most cutting-edge and innovative mills of the day. One who worked there before an accident deprived him of his fingers and thumb on one hand was local man Charles Mackintosh. He was then employed as a postman, which allowed him more time to study natural history. By the time he died in 1922, he had been showered with honours for his knowledge. His house is up to the right of the old inn. Beatrix Potter had met him when a very young child on holiday, as her interest in the natural world grew and grew. She finally managed to arrange a meeting with him one summer when she was in her early 20s. The occasion was to show him some drawing of fungi, but the meeting was to have a lasting legacy.
Accordingly, by appointment, he came with his soft hat, a walking stick, a little bundle, and very dirty boots. He was quite painfully shy and uncouth at first, as though he was trying to swallow a muffin. I asked him to sit down, his head being somewhere in the chandelier. I would not make fun of him for worlds, but he reminded me so much of a damaged lamp-post.
Later, she drew him from memory, and it is virtually certain that he was the model for Mr. McGregor in The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Inver possesses an astonishing legacy of music, and the most famous was Neil Gow, who lived between 1727 and 1807. He was born here in Inver, and played many a time within the old inn ahead of you. Gow was immortalised in a painting by Scottish painter Henry Raeburn, which with his original fiddle hangs in Blair Castle. He traversed the countryside playing for the great and good, as well as small parties and inns. His determination to cut back on his consumption and overindulgence in whisky is immortalised in his tune called A Farewell to Whisky. A year later he followed this up by penning another, Welcome Whisky Back Again. Following the road to your left, and just before you come to the dead end and the A9, is Neil Gow's house, now a private dwelling. He composed many a tune under a tree which is named Neil Gow's Oak. You can walk to this tree by taking the track through the Forestry Commission headquarters and following the river upstream. This ancient tree has a new seat under its canopy and is cared for by the Forestry Commission, whose Inver headquarters is to your right. They also care for many of the famous big trees of Perthshire. Also today, local fiddle players such as Dougie MacLean and Pete Clark carry on the legacy of Neil Gow. An ever-growing and successful Neil Gow festival attracts enthusiasts worldwide and is held in Dunkeld every March. This tune is Pete Clark playing one of his own compositions, which you may enjoy while backtracking over the stone bridge and turning right, crossing the railway bridge and parking in the car park there.